Welcome back, everyone, to more of our gameplay of Little Big Workshop. And we're going to pick up where we left off yesterday. So we've got a few machines up and working. We can now start to work a little bit with some metal. In fact, you can see them working on the ends of the shovels right now before they are then assembled here in our assembly stations for the final pieces. We're about 40% through this particular order, so we're looking pretty good. And of course, we're showing still 0 out of 5, but that's because the final step of assembly has not been completed yet. So we got 3 employees roaming around right now, but we're not very efficient. And the reason we're not very efficient is because the game at the very beginning wants to teach you certain parts and pieces. They want to teach you about billboards, for example, so they have you get 2 of the assembly benches, even though we don't really need 2 of the assembly benches. What we need more of right now are our wood workshop areas, because those are the types of orders that we're doing. And you see that we end up having workers that aren't doing a whole lot most of the time, and that certainly isn't going to help our productivity very much at all. Now in the future, we're going to be looking to expand. Right now you can see we've got a fence around our area, and there's plenty of room to expand in all different directions before we would need to actually purchase additional lots, areas around. So yeah, we've got a lot of work to do. Now, how do we expand? Well, we don't have the ability to just yet, and that's one of the things I want to talk about here at the beginning. But before we get into that aspect of it, I want to talk briefly about the options in the top right-hand corner of the screen, because there's some very useful tools that will help you at a glance see what might need to be done in your factory. So we come to the first one, which is the workstation priority lenses. Now we haven't looked at priorities yet. We've just left them at default, but this will show you what the priorities of certain workstations are. And what that would be good for, if we right click on one, you can see priority here is 3, which is right in the middle. So we could increase the priority of this workstation or decrease. And what that would do is, assuming that we have workers with nothing else to do, so they're not already working at a station, if we have a certain workstation with a higher priority, that's how we can prioritize other orders, because they will simply work at that workstation as long as it has work assigned to it. So it's a way to delegate which jobs you want to do, particularly if you have multiple contracts that you're working on simultaneously. Then we swap over to the repair state, and this is really helpful, particularly as you grow your factory, because it's going to show you the status of your machinery. And right now, we have to come in and right click on each individual one. And here you can see we can actually use a little bit of repair. We'll go ahead and have that planned. So we still should be perfectly fine, but these, you can see there's very little of any wear on those, and that's why they don't show up at all, as opposed to this particular workshop showing up. Then we get into the room effect. This is the mood in each room. So we can mouse over. Not bad at all. So right now you see we're at 12 cups of coffee per day. That means that we can, it doesn't matter how many employees, it's how many times they come in here. So once we reach 12, we're kind of done in this particular room, unless we do some expansion and get some more furniture in here, like the coffee maker and so on. Because if we don't do that, we'll end up with some people that will be collapsing, like we saw early in the first video. All right, so this guy, he's coming in. He's going to grab a little bit of coffee, and that'll get him back up and going. Now, our mood is a +7 right now in this room. So we're looking pretty good in here. We've got room for some expansion without really hurting anything too badly. But again, you can see how these tools, as you get a bigger and bigger factory, these tools will help you at a glance to see where you might have any issues. Now, the obstructions, you can see we've got nice clean walkways in some of these areas, but not very many. And the reason for that is we're starting to really clog things up with machines. So here we've got machines around the corners, but then here in the center, we've started working with some of our plants which is clogging things up for us. And then as we continue to add additional machines here, it's only going to make things worse. Now, it's still not the end of the world because we're still very, very small, but it is certainly not a great idea for the entirety of your factory as you continue to grow. Now let's come down to the bottom part of the screen and let's look at a few different things. Now, some of these we've already seen some of the basic functions, others we've not seen at all. So we'll start with the milestones here. We've seen this before. This is what the game wants us to complete. And the reason why we need to pay particular attention to this is because of the research and development that we'll look at here in just a moment once again. So we need to deliver more than 100 products. That's going to take a little while at the rate we're doing it because right now we're almost done with an order for 5. So 100 is going to take us a little while. Then we need to complete at least 3 client challenges. Those are available under your market orders. They're on the far left. You can see right now we don't have any. So we're stuck just using the basic types of tools before we expand out and get some better equipment. All right, so we need to open up the market because we've got 5 ready to sell for $797. Let's go ahead and deliver those. And okay, so we don't want to use this particular one because the icon is letting us know that it's about to expire and will no longer be able to be sold. So that's certainly not something we want. Let's go ahead and just do this one again for right now. We're going to wait for the game to drop us some more customer orders because those are certainly going to be some good money makers for us. But here, the good news is we can simply come back in here and hit execute because we already have done a plan for this. So we'll just execute that once again and let these guys keep working as we work our way through some of these different options. But completing these milestones is going to give us points to use in research and development. And of course, that is how we're going to improve and expand our factory. All right, moving into the workers. We have 3 workers right now. We can click on any of them and see what their salary is, how long they've been with us, and what their role is. There are 2 different types of employees. There are operators, which is what we have 3 of right now. But then if we come in under the workers and look, there is also some logistics workers. These are your loaders and unloaders. That's all they do. They will not work on any machines that you have, whether they're basic, advanced, or whatever. All they do is move materials around. So they would be responsible solely for loading and unloading. They would be responsible for moving materials back and forth between different storage areas, but that's what they do. Now, as we get bigger and bigger as a factory, we're going to want different storage areas, certainly more efficient than what we have right now. And that's where these kinds of workers will become a lot more necessary. They are cheaper. You know, we're paying right now $150 or 50 coins per day for an operator, but only 100 coins per day for one of the logistics workers. So that is certainly something to keep in mind as you're growing. All right, we've got a plus sign here. There's a new challenge on the market. All right, there we go. We're waiting for that to pop up, and here it is. So we've got, oh, it's our good buddy is back. Crazy Steve wants, what does he want this time? He wants some sandbox kits. All right, could you make 14 sandbox kits? Okay, well, I think we can do that for the most part. Now, it does look like we're going to be working with plastic, which means purchasing more equipment. So I'm a little hesitant to do it, but because this is part of the fun of the game, we're definitely going to do it. Our reward's going to be 2,200. We're certainly going to spend more than that on the new equipment. So monetarily, I'm not sure it makes a whole lot of sense, but we need those research points. So we're going to go ahead and accept this. And it's going to let us know that you're going to have to create everything from scratch and make sure you can do it within the time frame in order to receive your reward. So yes, we're going to take that chance. And maybe we can, maybe we can't. So let's see. Let's plan the product. First thing we're going to have to do is get some pellets. It looks like all of these are the same price and quality. So it's simply all about which color you want. And I'm not terribly worried about which color we have. So we'll just go with the basic. So we need an injection mold, and so we're going to find that here, an injection press rather. Let's see, this is going to be a funny shape, so this is going to make things hard for us. All right, we'll go ahead and place it down there and go ahead and get that order started. That's 2,300. So that alone is going to take up our entire reward. But the good news, of course, is that we'll have this machine available for future orders, at least some basic plastic work going forward. All right, let's go ahead and get through that. Let these guys get it set up. There we go. Now we can come back in under planning mode and we'll set up our queue there. Of course, we only have one machine. That'll create 14 of each. And then our assembly. Once again, we're going to use the billboard for that. We need 14 of them. And it looks like we're ready to go. Now, we need to come in and we need to prioritize this. We can hold off on the shovels. So what I'm going to do is move this project to top priority. So that will swap it out, make it on top. So because I need these guys working as much as possible. Now, in this particular case, there's not a whole lot of overlap here because we're going to spend nearly all of our time here in this area. But I wanted to make sure I showed you guys how to change priorities for different contracts and orders you might have that are open. All right, here's our message, because I don't believe we've seen this one yet in this playthrough. You can change the amount of workers that should be in your loading bays by right-clicking on a loading bay. We'll do that now. And so here's our assigned workers, a maximum of 3 workers here. And right now we only have one type of loading area. We would need to get into research and development in order to get more of those. All right, you can see we're still coming along just fine on our shovels. We're over halfway done with that. But we're a little bit slow working on the plastic simply because we've only got the one machine. But that's okay. Now let's come back out and let's move into research and development and look at this for just a moment, because this is going to be huge. Now we've already unlocked, so we've been in here briefly before because we've unlocked the billboards function, which is going to be huge going forward. We have 4 additional primary trees of development. We're going to have storage management, wood production, construction tools, as well as finally eco-friendly materials. So one of the things we're going to want to do next is open up this construction tool. That's what's going to allow us to expand our buildings. Of course, that's going to cost money, so we're going to have to be careful about doing that. But that's what's going to allow us to expand our factory, get more machines in here, more workers. We can complete orders faster and so on. That's where we can really start to become profitable. Now, this is the type of game that really lends itself to a lot of spreadsheet work and using a calculator to determine, optimal working rates and how many machines do you need and all that kind of thing. I'm going to avoid doing that for this playthrough, even though I have quite a bit of fun doing that kind of thing. But I'm going to avoid doing that. We're just going to simply have fun with this one and not worry too much about our overall profitability and how much money we're making and that kind of thing. Once we get the construction tools, at least stage 1 opened up, then we'll probably move over into storage management, and this will open up some special zones. Right now we just have one zone. Okay, our single zone, it accepts everything. Not only our raw materials that we have, but it accepts intermediary products and also the finished goods. So we don't want to do that in the long term, particularly as we continue to grow. So we'll have certain zones just for finished goods, certain zones just for raw materials, and so on. So that'll be very helpful. And then, of course, there are many different levels of research and development. Here we're going to get into opening up some different machines. So we're getting into metal production. And then we get into the ability to upgrade our operators into specialists, which is really going to help with our productivity and ultimately our profitability. So then we open up some advanced machines and so on. So there's a lot of work to be done. And next to each of these areas, you can see how many research points we're going to need. Right now we have 0. If we can complete this special task, this challenge of the sandbox kits, that should give us at least 1 research point. And then, of course, continuing to work on these shovels, that should also continue to give us some research points as well as we continue to make and deliver on contracts. So right now, I talked about this briefly just a few moments ago once we got into the plastic work and the challenge. But one of the things that is helping us out right now in really helping to complete both of these orders is that they don't really overlap. What you don't want to do, especially early in the game, is you don't want to have a whole bunch of orders that use the same workshop area. If you can spread things out, like right now we're using the plastic work over here, and then we're doing woodworking over here. Very different activities, so we don't really have to worry about the combination of the two. Where they really come together is when you get over here into this area of the final assembly. But for the most part, you can see we're able to take these plastic pellets, put them in the mold, and we're good. This is most of the work for this particular order, so this is where it would really help us out to have multiple of these machines and continue to add some more workers. All right, but for right now, we're doing pretty good, 12,859. And so now let's move over to our next area, which is our inventory. Okay, this is where we keep track of everything that we have. Not only all of our machines, if you wanted to see at a glance just how many different machines or types of machines you had, here's where you can find that information. The break room, what do you have in the break room? Then we have decorations, and you can see here's our 2 decorations. And then finally, here is our inventory of the various materials and intermediary products and finished products. So not bad if you need to see at a glance. And of course, as always, these are more helpful as you move forward. All right, now we're back into client relations. We've already seen this with Crazy Steve. We've seen that we're working our way toward the 9,500 to get to level 2 with him, which means he will give us more orders and pay us more money per order. So we certainly want that. And then there are other customers for us to open up as we continue to level up. You notice at the bottom of the screen, right now we are getting pretty close to making it to a level 2 factory. And as we do that, that of course is going to give us more research points. So all of these things that we're doing to be more productive and more profitable are going to help us to improve in the long term. So this particular customer will be unlocked whenever we unlock wood production number 1 in research development. So if we come back over, so we find wood production number 1, there we go. It's the one at the very top. So whenever we unlock that one, we'll unlock our second customer. And then so on as we continue to upgrade, and we'll have more and more complex products from each of these customers as we continue to level up. So there is going to be quite a bit to do as we continue moving forward. We're done with our shovels even before we're done with the sandbox kits, which is not terribly surprising. So we're going to come in here, 892. We are in good shape there. So at the rate of production we're doing right now, we're not going to run out anytime soon. Let's just keep doing these. These will keep the door open while we're trying to finish this off. Right now we are woefully behind on this. So what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to come in and, not under planning mode, under basic. Let's get another injection press. We're going to drop it right over here in the corner. Again, we're spending some money here, but if we're going to get into some of this basic work with plastic, I think these are going to be useful, at least until we get into some more advanced machines. Right now, we're just looking at basic machines that are very inefficient. We're certainly going to want to do much more efficient work than that going forward. All right, let's let these guys get this machine up and running. There we go. All right, so sandbox kit is going to be up and ready to go. Let's now come back under basic, and let's go to billboard. And let's go ahead and move this one over as close as we can this way. All right, but for right now, we need to separate out some work here. So I'm going to right-click on this injection press. It looks like, let's see, can we split this? Yes, that's what I want to do. Let's just go 7 and 7. And then let's move this one. Let's see, move it to another workstation or billboard. Yes, we want that option. and we want to move it over to this one. Now we've spread out the work, and the reason I had to do it this way is because we don't have the billboard installed yet. And as soon as we get this billboard in here, then we'll get that taken care of, and we'll be able to use it just the same way as we're using this particular billboard in the future. But for right now, since all of my planning, everything I was doing in here just had us going to straight to this one machine, I needed to manually separate those out for right now. But in future orders, we shouldn't have a need to do that. But already you see that we've got 2 workers that are here. Let's go ahead and move things forward. All right, so he's getting that one set up and configured. So now these guys can really move forward on getting some of this work done. All right, let's see what we've got. Oh yeah, now we're getting somewhere up close to 50%. And it's a good thing too, because look at our time. We're at less than a day right now. So let's see if these guys are able to get this done. Let's take a look at the work that we've got. Okay, we've got to finish up some shovels as part of the kits. Looks like next. Yes, so it looks like we've got all of the buckets made, and we're starting to complete the pairing. So let's move things forward a little bit. We are going to run this right down to the end. In fact, what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to move the priority on both of these up just a little bit. Oh, we've got a guy who's passed out over here, so we run out of coffee in the break room. Let's go ahead and configure our billboard while we're here. So I'm going to hold down Shift and select both of these. So in the future, we'll be able to use our billboard for this particular type of work. All right, so we got everybody either on break or passed out. Now, there we go. Now that we've increased our priority, they should be working both of these and get these done. I think this will allow us to get where we need to be. You can see we're up over 75% now, 13 hours remaining, and this is going to take us right down to the wire, which is certainly not what we want to do on a regular basis, but for right now, I think we might just make it. Oh my goodness, we're down to 9 hours left, 8 hours, 7 hours. We are so close. Are we going to make this? It would be very bad if we did not, because that would be a lot of money we've spent, and we would have to work extremely hard to make that back up. All right, we're at 3 hours left, and we are so close. Look at this. We're at 98%, 97%. Are you kidding me? Wow. All right, so he's coming to get... So you notice there it said truck en route, even though I didn't press anything. And the reason is the deadline time has come, so they've simply come to pick up what we do have, even if we don't have everything done. Looks like actually right now I see they're starting to work on this particular order with the shovels, so it looks like we made all of them, but we'll just have to watch and see as these guys get things loaded up. We're at a point now where I think we need to add at least one more employee, but I'm going to hold off just for a second. All right, there we go. Payment of $22.61, so we just made it. And then, probably as important, is the gained experience that we have. Because you notice, looking at the bottom of the screen, we've reached factory level number 2, and now we're trying to get to 14,500 to get to level 3. All right, so let's first and foremost, let's take a look in research and development, and let's see what it did for us. All right, so that got us 1 point. So we could go ahead and open up storage management if we wanted to, but I'm going to hold off because what I really want to open up has 2 points. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to let these guys continue working while we find yet another order. So these rubber ducks, these, we're going to need plastic, of course. We now have the tools to work with that. Let's see. Wow, I don't like the nosedive that this has taken. But I tell you what, we're already making these. So I like, of course, I don't know how much time this is going to take. It's a new product, and they're giving us a recommended there. So I tell you what, let's go ahead and do this one. Let's see how this works out for recommended if we just stick with that. So let's go ahead and plan. And once again, let's swap it up a little bit with the plastic pellets. And we're going to assign the work to the billboard. That's going to create our intermediary product. Then we're going to need to paint. Oh, we're going to need a new machine for that. A paint station. Well, of course we do. So we're going to spend even more money here. We're just spending all the money we're making right now on upgrades. And you notice now our mood is going down. We're at -15, so we're going to have to do some work on that. This is really why I want to get busy expanding, because we're running out of room to put additional machinery in here. And in fact, I think what I want to do, let's go ahead and get rid of this machine. Because I think what's slowing us down is what we really need, I think, is more woodworking stations. And I don't think we need 2 assembly stations. Now, I could be wrong about that. And if I'm wrong, we'll try to fit maybe another one in here. But I think we have all we need as far as that goes. All right, so let's see. How much is that going to cost us? Woodworking, 2,400. Can I fit it in here is the question. Well, maybe. Let's try once again. Can we rotate that like this? No, we cannot. Okay, so we're going to have to put it... Yikes. I don't like that at all. Okay, let's not do that. Let's get our look back to what we're used to. All right, oh, we have finished off everything. So these guys are getting orders done quicker than I realize it. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and plan 5 more and let them execute. So we're just going to keep that going for right now, because I think that is a very good job for us to do. All right, so we got a truck in route. Let's go ahead and, for right now, we're just going to leave it as is. All right, nope, we don't want that. We want to come back into the market. And let's go ahead and do this new product. We'll give it a shot and we'll see. All right, we've already got everything set up except for the paint booth, which we now have installed. Okay, we're all set. Let's go ahead and just do 5 of these. And we're on target. Everything looks good. And let's go ahead and execute. All right, not bad at all. Now we need, let's get another employee. Let's go ahead and recruit another employee. I absolutely love how they just fall out of the sky like that. And basically that is to simulate us, since this is our desk here that we're working on, basically dropping another figure onto the table here to do some work. I absolutely love that. That is a lot of fun when that happens. Also, if you fire an employee, that's a pretty cool animation as well. All right, so right now let's see what we've got. And yes, we've definitely got some work. And because we have higher priority on this, then we should make sure that we get that work done pretty quickly. So that gives us 4 employees, is that right? Yes, 4 employees. Of course, no specialists just yet. We've got some more upgrades to do before we can think about that. And, oh, did I read that right? We just made it to level 3 on the factory. I totally missed that. And you notice here, we've got 4 research points available. That is awesome. So, of course, we're going to spend 2 right here. So let's go ahead and we're going to click twice through that. That opens up construction for us. And let's see, do we want to open up woodworking? I'm thinking we do. That's going to give us access to some better stations. Right now we're using very basic stations. So this is going to open up some additional, much more efficient workbenches for us. So these basic machines you see at the bottom of the pop-up window there, it says the basic machines are 4 times faster than the workbenches, so we can get work done a lot quicker. So let's go ahead and do that. That seems like something we definitely want to do. All right, but those are going to be more expensive. So again, it's always a balancing act. All right, let's see what our buddies got for us. Oh, this is a different one. Okay, so we've got a global furniture company. We need another subcontractor, and we believe you may be able to fit the job. We require a small amount of wooden parts for one of our best-selling products, the shelf. Okay. So give me the details on this one. And let's see what we've got. So the small shelf here. And wow, 8 units, 5,040 coins. I like that. Get some reputation with him. Deadline is 5 days. Let's go ahead and accept that because why not? Yes, we know we need to plan, and we've already learned our lesson that we might not be able to make these deadlines. We've already seen that. All right, let's go ahead and choose the cheaper option for right now. And let's get all of these operations set. Let's see, these are all perfectly fine. Okay. We just got that one woodworking station, which I really don't like. So now we're going to have to do a whole lot of work on that one station. Not very efficient. Okay, the assembly will be a breeze. Looks like we've got, well, almost everything. Let's see, did I not? No, I did not put all of that in. So I think everything else is good to go. Of course, we need 8 of them. And let's go ahead and click on execute. Let's go to move this to the top of our priority list. And we're looking really good here on these other products. Of course, these products don't have any deadlines. These are simply going to market. So we're sort of at the whim of the market as to what our price is ultimately on those, because a lot of times we don't get it done within a certain market cycle, so the prices and everything reset on us as time goes on. All right, we've got a workstation here that is about to short out. As we come in here, you can see we're about halfway through, and that's certainly not in the area we want to be, because not only do we risk it breaking or catching on fire or whatever, we also risk this slowing down our work dramatically. So we're going to let this guy finish up in what he's doing here, and then we'll come back to him. So right now, I'm actually pretty happy with where our money is, because we bought some additional machinery. We bought 3 new machines here, and we're still north of 10,000. Now, hopefully, we've got enough orders in the pipeline and completing enough of these quickly enough that continues, but we'll have to see. But for right now, we've run out of time for today's video. I've had so much fun playing this game, and I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. The game is now available on Steam, and that's going to do it for today. Thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned for more Little Big Workshop.